Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have Unit 9. Unit 9. So open your student's book on page 73. Page 73. And let's take the grammar spot. The grammar spot about the modal verbs. So your student's book, page 73, the grammar spot. Okay, let's take this exercise before we explain how we use the auxiliary verbs or modal auxiliary verbs in the present or future and the past. Okay. What is the past of the following sentences? What is the past of the following sentence? He must be on holiday. He can't be on holiday. He could be on holiday and he might be on holiday. This, as we said last Monday, we use this form if you want to talk about the present or future. But if we want to talk about the past, we use something else. يعني inshallah, we will talk about it today. We are going to talk about it today, inshallah. But I need to listen from you. Who can tell me if I want to say this sentence in the past? In the past, how can I say it? How can I say this sentence in the past? Yes, Dawood.
He must been on holiday.
He must been on holiday. There's something missing. Okay, thank you, Dawood. Abdulaziz Al-Aqil, what do you think?
We add was.
Don't tell me what do you do. Just tell me the sentence. He must be on holiday. I understand you are talking about the present or the near future.
Yes.
How can you say it in the past? If you want to describe something happened in the past, what do you say?
He must be.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Abdulaziz. Qasim.
He must have been.
Again?
He must have been on holiday.
He must had been. This is the past perfect. We need the present in the past, but using the near past.
He must was. He
Yes.
was on holiday.
Change had. Because after must, we don't, and I don't want to say that. But it's not correct. It's not correct. Abdullah Al-Ghamdi.
Yes. He must have the working hard.
After must, the modal verbs. القاعدة يا شباب, the rule, the grammatical rule. After modal verbs, what do you use? After the modal verbs, the verb must be in which form? In which form? The modal verbs. Remember that. What do you think? Dawood, again.
Third form. He must been on holiday lately, or must have been on holiday lately. You have to specific the time, I think.
Again, Dawood, because your sound, your voice is too far.
Okay. You hear me now?
Can you speak louder?
Okay. I said he must have been on holiday lately, or he must been on holiday lately. I think have, because if you have a specific time, you have to speak about lately or last week. But I think
Very
he
good.
must have.
Very good. It's he must have been on holiday. He must have been on holiday. And you can say he can't have been on holiday. He could have been on holiday. We'll talk about that. And when do we use must, can't, could, and might? But the form will be as follows. He must have been. He must have. After must, can't, or modal verbs, we should use the first form, which is have, not had. He must have. Then the verb after have should be in the third form. In the third form, the verb after the main verb in the sentence should be in the third form. So the third form of the past participle of be is been. So we say he must have been on holiday. He can't have been on holiday. And notice that if you want to make it negative, we use not after the modal verb, not after have, no. After the modal verb, we say he can't, he couldn't, he might not, he may not. Okay, exercise 2. 2. What is the past of these sentences? If you understand this grammatical rule, you can answer this question. We must work hard. We talk about the present or the near future. We have to work hard. طبعا, this describes the present or the near future. We can see the sea from our room. The same thing. If we want to say these sentences in the past, as we did here, what do you say? What do we say? Yes, this is Harbi.
We must been work hard.
Abdullah Dosri.
We must have worked hard.
Excellent. We must have worked. Work will be in the third form. Worked, ed, worked hard. We must have worked hard. Next, we have to work hard. We have to work hard. Yes. Ah. Qasim.
We have to have worked hard.
Excellent. Next, we can see the sea from our room. Yes, it is Kabi.
And we can have seen the sea from our room.
Very good. We can have seen the sea from our room. Very good. Okay. Now let's see the PowerPoint slide or slides for this, for the grammar, for the modal verbs in the past. Let me share the screen with you. Just a second. Okay. The probability and possibility in the past. We form the perfect infinitive with have plus past participle. We form the perfect infinitive with have plus past participle, as we have seen earlier. Okay, like this one. He must, and after the subject we use one of the modal verbs that we know: must, should, shall, may, could. Then have. Then after have, we use the verb in the third form, the past participle. He must have missed his bus. Here we understand that he is talking about something happened in the past, and the speaker, we understand from the speaker in this sentence that he is sure, he is 100% sure that he missed his bus. So he says he must have missed his bus. يعني هو متأكد جدا، لأن استخدم هنا must، متأكد جدا إنه فاته ركوب الحافلة. So he says he must have missed his bus. Another example, they might have forgotten. وهنا he is not sure. He is not sure. So use might. They might have forgotten. طيب. These forms express degrees of probability in the past. The degrees from sure إلى not sure. يعني the first one from the top, this you are sure that something happened in the past, of what happened in the past, you are 100% sure. So when you say this sentence, they must have been so happy, you are completely sure that they were happy. So you say they must have been so happy, and you are talking about the past. And for example, they must have been so happy in the party or in the graduation ceremony. Next example, you are less sure. She can't have heard the news. You are not completely sure, but you are less sure. So you say she can't have heard the news. And notice the negative, we use not after the modal verb, not with have, not with have, after the modal verb. Next, she may have mentioned it. She may have mentioned it. You are less sure. They might have gone to the park. They might have gone to the park. Here you are more or less sure. Last one, the train could have been delayed. The train could have been delayed. طبعا هنا you are more sure. Here you are less sure. More sure using must, and in the way down you are less sure. Okay, next. We form the continuous infinitive with have plus been plus ing. If there is something or an activity you are sure that it was happening in the past and it was a continuous activity، إذا كان هناك وأنت متأكد إن كان في حدث حصل في الماضي وأنت تبغى تؤكد إن الفعل هذا حصل، إن الفعل هذا حصل، وكانت الاكتيفيتي او النشاط هذا فيه استمراريه، مثلا قياده السياره، مثلا المشي، يعني حاجه فيها استمراريه، يعني مو مثل كسر الزجاج ما في استمراريه، حدث سريع يعني ما في استمراريه، لكن الحدث اللي يكون فيه استمرارية مثل قيادة السيارة، مثل المشي، الركض، هذا فيه استمرارية. الدراسة هذا فيه استمرارية. Okay, if you are sure of something that happened in the past and you wanna say it or tell it to someone that there is something happened in the past and you are completely sure or you are not sure. So you wanna tell someone else about your opinion of what you think that happened in the past. What do you say? Let's look. They must have been having a good time. They must have been having a good time. You may say also, they might have been playing football. They might have been playing football. Or they could or they couldn't have been having lunch, for example. So the form modal verb have been, then the verb, the main verb with ing. The main verb with ing. This is when you talk about the probability or possibility in the past. بتتكلم عن حاجة احتمالية مثلا شخص رسب في مادة مثلا، أو شخص حصل له صار له حادث سيارة مثلا. He had an accident, car accident, and you want to tell someone why did he have that accident. You might say what? Who can tell me? Someone had a car accident. Tell me about the probability. What happened before he had an accident? What do you think? Yes, Dawood.
He might have been busy on his phone.
Where is the ing?
He must have been playing on his phone.
Very good. He must or he might have been using his phone. Very good. Qasim.
He can't have been focusing on the road.
Very good. Excellent. One more. Drinking coffee. Sleeping. Taking a nap. I'm helping you with verbs. This is Rakit.
He must have been sleeping and while he drive.
Very good. He must have
دكتور معليش الصوت انقطع.
that you are sure that he was sleeping. So you say, he must have been sleeping in his car or when accident happened. Another examples, she might have been telling the truth. She might have been telling the truth. طيب هنا complete the sentences. طبعا هنا the main verbs. These are the main verbs. Yes, she be upset when her mobile was stolen. Yes, Qasim.
She must have been upsetting when.
Very good. When her mobile was stolen.
Yeah,
Very
but
good.
I have a question on the previous one.
Which one?
For example, if I say he must have been unfocusing on the road, is it a correct
Yeah,
sentence.
you should say he must not.
Yeah, but I used unfocusing.
Unfocusing. Well, I have no idea if it's.
It's a negative words. I mean,
Is it used in English?
Yeah.
Unfocusing.
unfocusing.
Unfocus. Yes, it's used. Unfocus. To be honest, this is the first time I hear it. Unfocus. Unfocusing. Using as a continuous. As a continuous, this is the first time. Because it's used almost in the past or in the present, but not in the continuous form. Yes, Dawood. So the first one, she must have been upset when her mobile was stolen. Next, number 2, he got a bad grade. What do you think? He got a bad grade.
He must have been. He must have been not studying.
What did we say about using the negative?
Before the ing.
No, not before the ing.
He must not have been. He must not have been studying.
He must. We can say he must not have been studying. This is if we talk about it was a continuous activity. Very good. If we want to talk, if it's not a continuous activity, what do we say? Ahmed Al-Hmaidan.
He might have been studying.
No, not a continuous.
Studied.
Again, he.
Studied. He might have been.
Might.
Have been.
It should be in the negative. It should be negative. The sentence should be negative. Because he got a bad grade.
Haven't been studied.
Again, he
might have it, haven't been studied.
No, this is not the way we use the negative. We said that we use not after the modal verbs. The modal verbs are must, might, can, could, should. Qasim.
He might not have been studied.
نسيتوا الشريحة اللي قبل شوي. This is a continuous activity.
But you said you don't want it continuous.
Yeah. We don't need that, but you use the continuous form. What do you say? Like this one. Must, modal verb, have, then the verb in the third form. But this one should be negative. What do you say? Yes, Qasim.
He might not have been studying.
Why do you use been? Why do you use been? He must not have studied, the third form. We use been when we talk or we use the continuous activity. لكن في الماضي إذا كنا نتكلم عن حاجة استمرارية، هي ذكرناها استمرارية، هذه الطريقة. البداية must or might modal verb، بعدين have، بعدين been، بعدين الفعل الرئيسي بإضافة ing. هذا إذا كان فيه الحدث أو الفعل الأكتيفيتي النشاط فيه استمرارية، يعني الحدث اللي كان في الماضي كان فيه استمرارية. فطبعا هذا طبعا يرجع لك أنت، هل كان في استمرارية ما كان في استمرارية، وهل الفعل يستحق يعني إنه يكون يعني مثلا زي ما ذكرنا reading a book doing homework، هذا فيه استمرارية يعني ممكن نستخدمه. لكن مثلا كسر الزجاج مثلا هذا ما في استمرارية، يعني هو حدث سريع. هنا داود used he mustn't have been studying، قلت صحيحة إذا أنت تقصد فيها استمرارية صحيحة، بس احنا قلنا نبغى نستخدم الطريقة الثانية اللي هي ما فيها استمرارية في الماضي بدون استمرارية، and هذه بالطريقة اللي هي must بعدين have بعدين الفعل الرئيسي تصريف الثالث. طبعا في النفي ما نقول have not، النفي يكون بعد الموديل verb must not have studied، must not have studied. Okay, the last one, number 3. I'm not sure they late. The main verb leave, and here he is not sure. Don't use must because he is not sure. دز عقيل.
They might have left.
Again صوتك بعيد جدا.
I am not sure they might have left late.
Excellent. They might or may have left late. They might or may have left late. Very good. Any question about using the past when we talk about the probability or possibility? Any question? Any question? Who is raising his hand? Lizagil, you have a question? Okay. Now let's go back to our exercise on page 73. On page 73 in the student's book. Let me share with you the page. Just a second. Yes. Okay. Okay, we have this exercise, page 73, grammar and speaking. Exercise 1. Exercise 1. Respond to the statements and questions. Use the words in brackets. We need to respond to these sentences using the verbs in brackets. Look at number 1. I can't find my homework. But here we have must and forget. Must, this is the modal verb. Forget is the main verb. And we need to use it to talk about something happened in the past using must and forget. Look at the example. You must have forgotten it. هنا we use you, لأن هنا respond. You respond to someone talking, so you use you must have, then the verb, the main verb in the third form, forgotten it. You must have forgotten it. 2. Mark didn't come to school last week. Must L. Must L. What do you think? What do you think? We will take number 2, then I will let you do the rest. Number 2. Mark didn't come to school last week. Must L. Yes. Yeah. Ahmed Ahmedan.
Mark must
لا, respond. I'm telling you, Mark didn't come to school last week. What do you say?
I cannot hear you. Sorry. What do you
I
say?
am telling you that Mark didn't come to school last week. What do you say? Huh? Which pronoun, which subject pronoun do you use with Mark? He ولا she ولا
He must.
he must?
He must. Should I?
Yes. طبعا هنا we have an adjective. What do you use with an adjective? He must.
He must come to. أنا
طيب.
خربطت.
Okay, thank you أحمد. أحمد بن علي.
He must have been ill.
Excellent. Excellent. He must have. احنا قلنا after modal verbs we use have. طبعا هنا الصفات مثل ما احنا عارفين الصفات في اللغة الإنجليزية نستخدم مع الverb to be. الverb to be عادة نستخدم الverb to be. He must have been ill. Very good. Okay, do the rest. Do the rest. You have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes. Then we'll come back. اللي ما شارك يا شباب يشارك في 10 درجات على المشاركة. There is 10 marks for participation. Tomorrow, inshallah, tomorrow I will send you the participation marks out of 5 because we are in the middle of the semester. بكرة راح أرسل لكم إن شاء الله الدرجات من 5 لأن إحنا الآن وصلنا النص وضروري لكل واحد يعرف درجته في المشاركة حتى الجيد أو مشاركته كويسة يجتهد ويشارك أكثر. اللي مشاركته ودرجة مشاركة سيئة يقدر يعوض بالمشاركة المكثفة، يعني من أول ما تبدأ المحاضرة إلى ما تنتهي المحاضرة ورافع يده يشارك في كل سؤال. So tomorrow I will send you a copy of the participation marks. So you have to participate because some of you have no marks in participation. في بعضكم ما عنده أي درجة في المشاركة. صفر ما عنده أي درجة. كل واحد عارف نفسه. Okay, start. You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes. ومثل ما ذكرت يا شباب مشاركة واحدة أو مشاركتين غير محتسبة. احنا عندنا الساعة إلى الساعة ونصف. مفترض أقل حاجة 3 مشاركات. أقل حاجة. ولا تقعد تحسبها 3 مشاركات وتوقف، لا. شارك معي من أول محاضرة نهاية المحاضرة. Yes. Okay, just tell me the answer. Don't read the sentence here. يعني number 3. Why is Isabel late? Don't read it. Just tell me the answer. Tell me the answer. Laziz Zagi. Laziz Zagi. 3.
She might have been overslept.
She might
Have been overslept.
No. No. عبد العزيز العقيل. Number 3. عبد العزيز.
Yeah, she might have overslept it.
It, where did you get it? She might have overslept. Very good. Without it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Abdulaziz. She might have overslept. She might have overslept. 4. I can't find my notebook. I can't find my notebook. Yes, محمد الخثعمي.
You must have been dropped.
No. Majid bin Suleiman.
You must have been dropped it.
Where did you get been? You must
have dropped it.
Very good. You must have dropped it. Next, 5. The teacher's checking Hadi's work. Qasim.
He can't have been. He can't have been finished early.
Why do you use been? Why are you using been? We use been when we talk about something that has a continuous activity. Huh?
He can't have finished.
Finished? Yes?
Early.
Already. There's something missing. أحمد الحمدان.
Finish ED بتكون معاها.
Finished إيش؟ Finished what?
His homework.
Yeah, what do you use?
ED.
No, not ED, with work. What do you use? He can't have finished 2 letters.
It.
Very good. He can't have finished it already. Thank you very much. Number 6, the last one. Ahmed Ahmedan. Yes, Ahmed.
She must have been doing a lot of revision.
She
must have been doing a lot of revision.
Very good. We can do that. We can say she must have been doing lots of revision, or there is another option. It's correct to say she must have been doing lots of revision, because do here and doing revision, it's a continuous verb and it's completely true, correct? And there is another option. This is Kabi. What is the other option?
She must get such good marks.
No. No. We said that we can say she must have been doing lots of revision. The other option, Dawood.
How did Sama?
Don't read the question. Give me the answer.
She must have done a lot of revision.
Very good. She must have done lots of revision. Thank you very much. Let's listen to the answers.
9.7. 1. I can't find my homework.
You must have forgotten it.
2.
Mark didn't come to school last week.
He must have been ill. 3.
Why is Isabel late? She might have overslept.
4. I can't find my notebook.
You must have dropped it.
5.
The teacher's checking Haddie's work. He can't have finished already.
6.
How did Summer get such good marks in that test? She must have done lots of revision.
Okay, let's move to the next exercise. Okay, exercise 2. Exercise 2. Okay. Use can, can't, could, must, might, should, and shall in these sentences. And do any change that needs to be done. You can do any change that needs to be done. And for example, number 1, he have been born during the 1940s. He have been born during the 1940s. What do you think? Abdullah Dosri.
He might have been born during the 1940s.
He might have been born during the 1940s. Okay, do the rest. Do the rest. Use one of these, but it should be correct in meaning. Semantically, it should be correct. Okay, start. You have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes. طبعا there is no one correct answer. احنا ما عندنا إجابة واحدة صحيحة. أهم شيء يكون الفعل اللي راح تختاره في المعنى الصحيح. Okay, 2. محمد بن صالح الحربي.
Can you help me?
Very good. We may say, can you? Very good. So we can say here, can. Just a second. Can you help me? Very good. 3. Who participates? Please just lower your hand. يعني محمد الحربي, please lower your hand. Let me see the others. Umar Mirzouk. Next.
Yes, you should see the doctor.
Very good. You should see the doctor immediately. 4. فيصل بن مساعد.
It could be raining.
It
could be raining.
Very good. It could be raining. It could be raining. Next. We go out for dinner this evening. Abdullah Mansour.
Shall we go out for dinner this evening?
Very good. Number 6. I stop eating sweets. I stop eating sweets. Ziad.
I can't stop eating sweet.
Very good. I can't stop eating sweets. Number 7. Have been. Saud that you met at the library. It have been Saud that you met at the library. ها عبد العزيز الكعبي.
It must have been.
It must have been.
That you met at the library.
Very good. It must have been Saud that you met at the library. Number 8, the last one. I learned to speak English. I learned to speak English. The last one. The last one. Abdelmajid bin Sulaiman.
I should learn to speak English.
Good. I should learn to speak English. I should learn to speak English. Very good. Okay, let's move to the next exercise. Next page. Next page. The man who planted trees. Page 74 and 75. We have a text and different extracts. In fact, there are different extracts. We have 4 extracts from the writer who wrote The Man Who Planted Trees. The Man Who Planted Trees. So let's read this one. Let's read this quotation. Let's read this quotation. Only when the last tree has died and the last river has been poisoned and the last fish has been caught will be realized that we can't eat money. So this quotation, what does it mean? Here, who do you think said it? The head of an environmental organization, an African fisherman, a French farmer, an ancient Greek philosopher, a Native American. What do you think? What do you think? Yes, Abdul Mansour. Okay, let me lower all hands first. Yes, Dawood.
The head of an environmental organization.
Come near to the mic, Dawood, please. Come close to the mic so we can hear you.
The head of environmental organization.
I cannot hear you.
Is it? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
The head of an environmental organization.
Good. What do you think? It's what do you think? ها عبد العزيز العقيل.
I think also the first one, the head of an environment organization.
It's the same answer. We need different one. طيب. Let's go back to number one. What does it mean? What does it mean? عبد المجيد بن سليمان.
It means we have to stop cutting trees and poisoning the rivers because we cannot eat the money. We have to save our planet. That I think.
Excellent, عبد المجيد. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Now let's start with extract one. Extract one. This is an extract from a story called, you are going to read extract from a story called The Man Who Planted Trees by the French writer Jean Giono. So this is a story and we have only extracts. We have only extracts, just parts of the story, and we have questions. Okay, now we need to answer these questions. We need to answer these questions. Okay, read the questions in 2 minutes. Then we will listen to the extract to find the answer. Read the questions. Okay, let's listen. Then we will take the answers.
9.8. About 40 years ago, I was taking a long trip on foot over mountain heights unknown to tourists. All around was barren and colorless land. Nothing grew there but wild lavender. After 5 hours walking, I had still not found water. All about me was the same dryness, the same coarse grasses. I thought I saw in the distance a small black silhouette. It was a shepherd. 30 sheep were lying about him on the baking earth. He gave me a drink and took me to his cottage on the plain. I felt peace in the presence of this man. I asked if I might rest here for a day. He found it quite natural. He gave me the impression that nothing could surprise him. I didn't actually need to rest, but I was interested and wished to know more about him.
Yes. Number one, in which year? What do you think? He wrote the story in 1953. And he says here about 40 years ago. So in which year? In which year? Abdullah Dosri.
In 1913.
In 1913. Very good. In 1913. Very good. What was he doing when he met the shepherd? What was he doing? Yes, Abdul Majid.
He was trying to find water.
He was trying to find water. He didn't say that. Qasim.
In the fourth line, he said, I had still not found water.
In the fourth, after 5 hours walking, I had still not found water. Very good.
Yes.
But what was he doing?
But he was on a long trip.
Huh? Majid.
Trying to find. He didn't find water, but still not found. Walking.
Very good. Very good. He was walking. He was walking, trying to find water. Thank you very much. Next, 2. Which part of France do you think, because it's not mentioned, do you think it is? Qasim.
Paris?
Paris. No, it's not in Paris because there are sheep. There is no sheep in Paris. What do you think? There are grasses, shepherd, sheep. Dawood.
I think Minabli or some location in France with shepherd. I think Minabli.
Wallahi, it's extremely hard to hear you, Dawood.
Okay, I think in Monaco or some countryside city.
Which part?
Monaco.
Yeah, which part? North, east, west, south?
South.
Very good. Thank you very much. It's in the south of France. It could be in the south of France. Thank you very much. 3. Why do you think the writer is interested in the shepherd? What do you think he likes about the man and his lifestyle? Qasim.
He's selling sheep. He has a farm.
Yes. So
he has a farm and he has
yeah, there's Agil.
He was interested about this man and he wanted to know about him more.
Why?
Because he felt peace.
Excellent. Excellent. Because he felt peace. Because he felt peace. So he was interested in this man and his lifestyle. He wanted to know more about his lifestyle because he felt peace when he met him. Very good. Okay, next extract. Next extract. Extract 2. Okay. Let's read the questions in 1 minute. Read the questions in 1 minute. Okay, let's listen.
9.9. I noticed that he carried for a stick an iron rod as thick as my thumb and about 1.5 meters long. He began thrusting his iron rod into the earth, making a hole in which he planted an acorn. Then he refilled the hole. He was planting oak trees. I suppose I must have been fairly insistent in my questioning, for he answered me. For 3 years, he had been planting trees in this wilderness. He had planted 100,000. Of the 100,000, 20,000 had sprouted. Of the 20,000, he still expected to lose half. There remained 10,000 oak trees to grow where nothing had grown before. That was when I began to wonder about the age of this man. He was obviously over 50, 55, he told me. His name was Elzéar Bouffier. I told him that in 30 years, his 10,000 oaks would be magnificent. The next day, we parted.
Okay, number 4. What did Elzéar do with the acorns? What did he use as a tool? Yes. Qasim.
He refilled the hole.
He planted them by making a hole in what?
The earth.
Very good. In the earth with what? With
Iron.
iron what?
Iron rod.
Right. Very good. Next, 5. How many had he already planted? How many were growing? How many had he already planted and how many were growing? The first part. He had planted what? How many? This is Akil.
He planted 100,000.
Very good.
20,000 were split.
Again?
And 20,000
were
spread.
Growing. Very good. So 100,000 had been already planted and 20,000 were growing. Thank you very much. Number 6. How old was Elzéar at the time? Yes. Ahmed Al-Hamadan.
Over 55.
He is or he was?
He was over
55. No, he was 55. Exactly 55.
55.
Yes, thank you very much. 55, he told me. 55, he told me. Very good. And second part, how old do you think the writer was? How old? What do you think? The writer who wrote this story at that time. طيب, it's not mentioned. It's not mentioned. Okay. Number 7. What do you think Elzéar's ambition is? What is his vision of the future? Number 7. This is Agil.
I think his ambition to plant a lot of trees.
To make what? Or to create what?
To make a forest.
Very good. To create a forest. Because he is planting, or he had already planted 100,000 and there were 20,000 trees growing. So he or his ambition is to create a forest. What is his vision of the future? What do you think?
I think it's the same. The
Okay.
same. You have a forest and.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next. Thank you, Abdulaziz. Next, because we don't have much time. Extract 3. Okay, for the next 5 years, the writer is a soldier and fights in the World War I. The war ends in 1918, and his thoughts turn again to the tree planter, Lysiard, in the mountains. He returns to look for him. He returns to look for him. Okay, we have 4 questions. What did the writer think that Lysiard might have died? Why did the writer think that Lysiard might have died? How had the war affected Lysiard? Why is the writer speechless? What thoughts about human behavior does he have in the last sentence? Let's listen.
9.10. I had seen too many men die during those 5 years not to imagine that Elzéar Bouffier was dead. He was not dead. As a matter of fact, he was extremely well. He had changed jobs. He had got rid of the sheep because they threatened his young trees. For, he told me, the war had disturbed him not at all. He had continued to plant. The oaks were then 10 years old and taller than both of us. It was an impressive spectacle. I was literally speechless, and as he did not talk, we spent the whole day walking in silence through his forest. It measured 11 kilometers in length and 3 kilometers at its greatest width. When you remembered that all this had come from the hands of this one man, you understood that men could be effective in other ways than destruction.
Yes, number 9. Why did the writer think that Lysiard might have died? Why? Qasim.
Because he had seen too many men died during those 5 years.
Very good. In the World War I, he had seen many people died or dead bodies, so he thought that Lysiard had died or passed away too. Okay. Number 10, how had the war affected Lysiard? Dawood. Yes, Dawood.
Not at all. He said not at all. He's still doing his job, but he got rid of some sheep because of the plants. They eat the plants.
Yeah. What did he do? He continued to do what?
Extremely well. He continued to do planting. The planting for plants.
Planting, yes.
But he changed his job.
Yeah, planting what? Planting flowers or planting
the plants.
No.
Young trees.
Very good. Trees. He continued planting trees. Very good. So the war did not affect him at all. Thank you, Dawood. 11. Why is the writer speechless? Why? This is Ragil.
Because he was seeing that one man has been growing all the tree with one man, and he was speechless that how can one man do that?
Excellent. Do what?
Planting the tree.
Excellent. And creating
forest.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Next, the last one. What thoughts about human behavior does he have in the last sentence? In the last sentence, when you remember that all this had come from the hands of this man, one man, you understood that men could be effective in other ways than destruction. What do you think? What thoughts about human behavior does he have in the last sentence? Martinson.
The dedication that he didn't get distracted by doing his job.
Okay, good. Abdul Majid.
This is the result of one man. How about everyone doing the same as him? That's what I think.
Yes, good.
Try to plant.
Dawood.
He speaks about the behavior. He said instead of doing destruction, they could plant and develop earth and make the world a better place, not a worse place.
What destruction does he mean?
Destroying by the war and tanks and weapons.
Very good. In the war, he talks about the war, that we can do better. We can do like Lysiard. Lysiard, he planted trees.
Yes, instead of fighting, he wants us to build the world, to make the world better.
Very good. He was comparing between Lysiard planting trees and creating a forest, and those people who, or those men who were destructing the environment and killing people. So he says that we can do better to ourselves and to for the human behavior and for our environment. Thank you very much. Last extract, the last one. We have only 3 questions. How had the village and its surroundings changed? Next, is the writer an optimist or pessimist? متفائل أو متشائم. At the end of the story, why? What has happened in the writer's life that could have made him pessimistic? And the last one, how old was Lysiard when he died? Why was it important that he had a long life? طبعا هنا the writer returns for a final visit. طبعا these are extracts, هي مقاطع parts from the original story. So this is the last part. The writer returns for a final visit in 1945 after the World War II. Lysiard is still alive. The writer is amazed at what he sees. Not only is there the forest, but houses and even villages have been rebuilt in those or in that forest because of the trees that Lysiard alone had planted. Okay, let's listen. Let's listen to the last extract.
9.11. The bus put me down in Vergon. In 1913, this village of 10 or 12 houses had 3 inhabitants. Nettles were feeding upon abandoned houses. Now everything had changed, even the air. Instead of the harsh, dry winds, a gentle breeze was blowing, laden with scents. A sound like water came from the mountains. It was the wind in the forest. I saw a fountain had been built. Ruins had been cleared away and 5 houses restored. Now there were 28 inhabitants, 4 of them young married couples. It was now a village where one would like to live. When I think that one man was able to cause this to grow from wasteland, I am convinced that in spite of everything, humanity is good. Elzéar Bouffier died peacefully in his sleep in 1947.
Yes, how had the village and its surroundings changed? What do you think? Yes. This is Agil.
There is in the village building and starting to have a road
There are
inhabited.
very good. There are inhabitants, and there is a village with people, and it started with 10 or 12 houses,
New couples also.
and now there are young married couples. Very good. So these are the changes that happened after planting the trees and after creating the forest. Thank you very much. Next, is the writer, number 2, optimist, pessimist at the end of the story? Why? What has happened in the writer's life that could have made him pessimistic? Yes, Qasim.
Optimism. Optimist.
Optimistic. Why?
Because there is a lot of younger married.
Huh? What makes him optimistic? Because of what?
Because 28 inhabitants.
No, not because of that. Because of something more important. Dawood.
Because of Elysiad impact on making the world better place. We build
Very good.
planting and stuff like that.
Because of what Elysiad had done of planting trees and creating a forest, he is optimistic and he thinks that humanity is good. Okay, the last question. The last question. What do you think? Just to remind you, in 1913, he was 55. Elysiad was 55 in 1913, and he died in 1947. So, how old was he when he died? Do some math. Do some math. This is Agil.
89.
Excellent. 89. He was 89. And why was it important that he had a long life?
Because one of the best human being in the earth that has been given the earth his power to build a
What
forest.
did he do in his long life? What did he do?
He built a forest that will, after 15 years, has been contain a village, and human has also come to have a habitat in it.
He didn't build trees. He planted trees. Very good. He planted trees and created what?
Opportunity of people to come.
Very good. Because it was a wasted land, as it said here, it was a waste land. But because of what he had done of planting trees, everything changed and people started to come and live in the forest that he had created. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Any question? Any question about what we have read about this text? Any question? Yes, Dawood.
My question is unrelated to the what we read. But
No, we need something related to the text.
Okay.
Before I start